gods and goddesses, let's talk about Chiron in Aries retrograde. So let's talk a little bit about Chiron. So Chiron is known as the wounded healer. It is a placement in your chart where you can never truly heal this placement. I mean, you can never truly heal this wound, this placement. You can never truly heal this wound, but it is something that you must learn to accept and work with, because over time it gets stronger. And then over time, you start to understand that it is your weakness and you start to look at it in a different way. So Chiron in Aries is our deep emotional and spiritual wounds, right? I'm going to go over each sign and going to be telling you how you're going to be affected during this time. So it's associated with the shaman, the healer, because you know that when you heal yourself and you accept your weaknesses and things of that nature, you learn how to heal others. And it's not something that you can tell others how to do, but it's something that you experience yourself, and you know how to help others. You know what to say, you know what to do, kind of like a shaman. A shaman doesn't heal you, but a shaman shaman gives you the space to learn how to heal yourself. So, this also represents our ability to transform pain and suffering into healing and growth, which is a beautiful thing. I love it. And anything that has to do with healing, I love. So this placement in your natal chart definitely reveals the areas of your life where you've experienced a lot of pain and a lot of vulnerability and a lot of suffering, in a way. And this, emotional and spiritual transformation can be definitely healing. And this is a time where you will start to see like how you can transform it, how you can rise, like the phoenix out of the mud, and start making and start using these inner wounds to start like leading you towards like this greater sense of self and this self acceptance, self-awareness, compassion, and ultimately towards your personal growth. I love that. This can also be you, being more understanding of your weaknesses and more understanding of your weaknesses, being able to learn how your emotions and spiritual wounds like influence your life experience that you're experiencing. Whatever house it's in, that's where you will experience this pain and suffering, and it's not always like a lot of pain. It's not always like the deepest pain and deepest suffering, but there is a certain awareness that you come to where you're like, wow, this actually does affect me, and it affects me in ways that I wasn't like clear about before. Like I didn't know so much about it before, and now it's starting to really show itself to me. And now I can reevaluate these things and start, looking at myself as being more capable of love and compassion, like regardless of what, regardless of what this wound is. So, don't like shy away from change or shy away from just acknowledging that, maybe you do suffer in this area of your life, and it's about growth. Chiron retrograde in Aries is a bound in a wound that occurs very, very slowly, and this process can reveal itself very, very slowly, where you start to like, this is a point in your chart where it's not going to change. It changes for us and it goes into different signs, but this placement does not change for everyone. Everyone has Chiron in their chart. So this is also about like, we can't rush the process. Over time, you will start to realize, hey, what is this wound? I know I have experienced this, and there is a certain level of acceptance that you must have, and compassion and love towards yourself in order to embrace it. In order for you to really see growth from it, you can't truly heal it, but you can acknowledge it, and now it can become like armor and it become a part of you. And then you start telling people, hey, this is my boundary. I have Chiron in Aries in this part, and this is my boundary. You cannot overstep my boundary. And so, Chiron going into retrograde also aligns with the North Node that we have in Aries. So that could be, pretty good, because, the North Node is our sense of direction in the world. It is what we're meant to do in this lifetime. And it's now in Aries. So it gives you this, self, you're looking at yourself now. Okay, how can I make my dreams come to light? What drives do I need to have in order to make these things possible? And because it aligns with North Node, you're going to be driven to make these things, like your fate, your destiny. You're going to be wanting to take over your fate, and now start using like your fire power, and start using that inner flame that burns within you in order to start going after life, and start going after this area of your life. So this can also be a time, that pushes you towards healing, and pushes you towards healing because, Aries is a sign of the self. It's a sign that I'm going to go do it, but it's also the baby. So, it's like whether you need to cry doing this, it's going to lead you towards healing. And whether you need to, Aries is a sign of being like courageous, also being like ambitious, having just like this bravery, this unwavering bravery that is positive, because that is directed towards the self. So just by thinking like, hey, I'm going in the right direction. I have ambition. I am brave. I am curious. I am courageous. I am going to do these things. And just say I am affirmations will even help you, come to terms with what wound you actually have, and start making peace with it. And I don't know if I said this, but Chiron turns retrograde in Aries on July 26th. So let's get started. We're going to start with Aries. Aries. So Aries, this Chiron in Aries retrograde is going to be happening in your first house of self, so it does have an extreme impact on you. But also you have North Node in your sign, so it aligns, it conjuncts the North Node. So Chiron in Aries in your first house does have a strong impact on you, but it also encourages you to reflect on your experiences that you have that has, maybe driven you to not have that much confidence within yourself, maybe to not have even a positive outlook on life. Maybe you just have this wounded outlook on life where it's like everything hurts me, everyone is out to get me, and how can I accept myself as I am, where other people can accept the potential that I see within myself. And but with it aligning to with it conjuncting the North Node, you know that you have a purpose. It is just about you being, a little bit in fear, or you being like, wait, should I take this step? But thankfully Chiron is going out of your sign soon, so that'll be good for you. But it's just time for you to, because it's going in retrograde, it's time for you to get clear and get more serious about your direction in life, and also about like the way that others have expectations over you. You don't need to, others can simply add to you. They cannot, tell you what to do. They cannot tell you anything about yourself unless you allow them to. But also this can also be about like you regenerating yourself, because this is a house of your your identity and your body and your brain structure. So just being like slowing down, reevaluating, like, hey, what you have to the ultimate thing with Chiron being in Aries is to accept yourself as you are. Accept the accept the good, accept the ugly, accept the negative, and maybe spend some time meditating, focus on what you want, your needs, and just being honest with those things too, because yourself is going to get you towards your goals. Yourself is going to get you towards what you truly want in this lifetime. And whether you're wounded by it, or whether you feel some lingering pain behind it, it is who you are. So it is something that you're seeing to, you have to accept in order to fulfill dreams, to fulfill your goals, because it can have you thinking a lot about your purpose in life. And, will I ever be able to, fulfill my dreams and fulfill my destiny? I'm here to tell you that yes, you can, Aries, because we are all wounded in areas of our life, but for you, it is in the self and your identity and how you're showing up as yourself, because there is some distance between who you truly are, where can you actually go, and what can you actually do. You can do a lot, and especially when it comes to the self and the self identity, there's this acceptance that makes you even stronger and pushes you towards self-confidence, what boosts you up, which you naturally have, Aries, too. But there can be some during this time, it was in Chiron has been in Aries since 2018, I believe, and there's just this like lingering like suffering that has to do with your identity that makes you feel like you cannot, but you can. You always have the opportunity. And you know, what they're going in retrograde is going to start presenting you with these opportunities in order to build upon your identity. So let's choose a message from your higher self, Aries. You have journal daily. This is beautiful because this gives you a chance to start writing out that fire. Because remember, Aries, you have a fire in you that cannot be burned. You know, it's this lingering fire that makes you want to go and makes you want to do, and it cannot be settled out. It's going to continuously burn from within you. And you have to write these things down, start journaling out, whether it's something that you need to accept, whether it's something that you need to get out, you know, whether it's something that you need to release, you need to let go of, you want to see more of it. Journaling it out puts everything down into clear perspective for you, so you're able to really see, okay, how can I accept myself? How does my identity work? How can I use who I am to fulfill my dreams, to fulfill my goals? Because you have something to achieve in this lifetime. Okay, Aries, that's all I have for you. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Aries. Hey, Taurus. So Taurus, Chiron in Aries retrograde is going to be happening in your 12th house of your psychological nature, your psychological wounds, the self-undoing, you know, the mystical, the ethers, the magical realm that exists within you. And so this is really like, you know, you could have had really like not the best interaction with others, you know. Maybe this can be you thinking about the past, or you're thinking about, you know, what others have said to you and things of that nature, and how it affected your inner psyche, and how it, you know, it affected your inner psyche, and it's going to show up as you now want to confront your emotional, you know, responses that you have buried. Because remember, this house is the house of secrets. I mean, not secrets. It's a house of like being hidden and things that are suppressed within this house. You must go in and uncover them, especially your emotional nature could have been buried due to this. And now is the time for you to like start healing without needing to talk to anyone. Start healing without needing closure from others, without needing them to tell you again. You know, if they told you once, you know, you don't need anyone to say sorry to you. You kind of know that they're sorry. They look sorry, you know. It's about you now apologizing to yourself, and just apologizing to, you know, forgiving yourself. That's most important here. Even for letting it affect you and letting it, you know, mess up your mind. There is this sense of suffering that could have come from them, but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't get any easier if you ignore it, or if you want to go back and talk to them again. Definitely letting things go would be ideal, but remember, this is all your choice. And you know, you may be tempted to really be alone at this time too, and start, you know, thinking about how you can become more accepting of yourself, the way that you think, and accepting of the wounds and, you know, the traumas that you've experienced, and like trying to alchemize them in order to really get like your direction in life. Maybe try going to so you can really see like what exists within inside you, and that is the beautiful thing. And that is where, yes, we have flaws, we have wounds, and loving all of that, and having it, yes, hold it dear to you, but having it become a part of you, to where it's like, no one can tell me about myself anymore. I have accepted those things about myself, and now I can, you know, really move forward. So basically, like, just taking some time to you know, go somewhere. I would definitely advise like going to the beach, you know, during this time, because it's, you know, it's a hot time. It's hot. The sun is out. Definitely spending some time in nature will be beautiful. And just, you know, being around those who actually, this is also solitude, so don't be around anyone. Just sitting with yourself as this, you know, this beautiful creation, like this beautiful like image of God, and just accepting parts of yourself that you don't really want to accept, you don't really want to face, but during this time it's going to be right in your face, and you're going to spend some time trying to figure out how you can accept them. So let's choose a message from your higher self, Taurus. I call back my light, I call back my power. Remember, there's a such thing called like cutting ties with people. This is a spiritual well, it's not a spiritual it is a practice, you know. I just call it spiritual because I guess that's the word. But it is a practice where you start cutting ties with people and you physically, you know, go in and, you know, change, like go into your memories or start cutting ties and things like that. You definitely search it up. But you're calling back, the whole theme is you calling back your light, you're calling back your power, you're calling back what you have given out to others that have made you suffering without you actually physically going to do these things. You know, you can be in people's dreams and things of that nature, but, you know, without you actually sending your astral body over there, because 12th house is the astral body. But you know, don't go over there asking them for like a, you know, apology or something like that. Just start asking questions to yourself. Why have you accepted this? You know, why did this pain and suffering, you know, stop you from accepting yourself and really calling by your light and your power? Because that's what you exist in. You exist in power, and your power does, you know, get wavered a little bit or can be wounded, you know, when we give it out to the wrong people. So that's all I have for you, Taurus. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Taurus. Gemini. So Gemini, this Chiron in Aries is going to be happening in your 11th house. Your 11th house of communities, dreams, goals, friends, the future, and your community. I don't know if I said that, but just your circles, social circles. And this can have you feeling like, hey, like a little bit like insecure, like, do I really fit in with these people? You know, I feel like this is a house of like soul family too. So there is a soul connection with these people, but you really don't feel comfortable around them. You don't feel like you belong to these people, and you don't feel as though, you know, you can be yourself around these people. You don't feel as though you can really like access those parts of yourself that exists within you, because they're so wounded, you know, they're so bothered, and they're so dark and deep, you know, and it causes a lot of pain. So of course it will cause a lot of pain for those around you. But this is a time to really access, like, you know, how do you feel about the times where, you know, you're spending time in, you know, social circles, or you're spending time in these places, and like, how does it make you feel? Maybe this is time for you to like take a break and stop being around these people. Maybe take some time to yourself and start focusing on your dreams and your goals and your wishes. Not that, you know, it can be happen when you are connected to others. It does happen that way, you know, because, you know, we have to connect with other people. But, you know, with Aries, this is about you know, it's about your wounds, your realization when it comes to like who you are and what you're insecure about. So just be mindful during this time and spend some time like away from social media and away from talking to people and just away from people, so that you can figure out what is it that you don't accept about yourself, or you feel like it's too wounded or too broken to really show out, or to really show up as yourself. You know, like, what is stopping you from doing those things? And just spending time away from socials and away from talking and away from people, you know, who just talk, away from gossip and things of that nature. So let's choose a message from your higher self, Gemini. There we go, Gemini. Gemini, we have forgive them for your well-being. Forgiveness is something that you do for yourself, Gemini. You don't do for others. Forgive those friend groups and things of that nature who you feel like you can't be yourself with, or, you know, they wouldn't even accept your true self, or they don't even care about getting to know who you truly are. They don't care about your wounds. Just forgive them for your well-being, or forgive them for their own ignorance, because remember, people are perceiving life differently than you are, and they'd actually, you know, it's actually not a bad thing. You know, you start to see, that's why, you know, you talk to them, you see how they see life. But they, you know, sometimes these things start affecting you, because honestly, words like create our life, and we have to forgive ourselves, especially you, Gemini. Just forgiving yourself and spending time away from these people in order for you to forgive yourself for surrounding you with people who you feel as though could never accept who you true are. Is that the case? You know, just spending time alone and really observing, like, maybe I am the one, you know, that was gossipy, or maybe I am the one who won't show my true self because I feel as though, who cares, right? But remember, you care. You are the one that is the center of your universe, and you must forgive yourself in order to really start accepting it, because now this is about accepting this wound and really grieving and really morphing into the version of yourself that goes after the dreams, that goes after the friend groups and soul connections that are actually deep and very deep on a soul level. So that's all I have for you, Gemini. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Gemini. Cancer, 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 Cancer. This is happening in your 10th house. Your 10th house has to do with your reputation, your father, your public image, your authority in the world, and your career and your legacy as well. So with Chiron going in retrograde, this can be, you maybe have had many doubts about your direction in life, about your life path, about, your career. Is it worth it? Am I worth it? Can I really make these things happen? Can I really even build a legacy? Do people see me as being an authority figure? There is just a lot of questions during this time that, just swirl around your mind. And it's possible that insecurities like that are rooted from your childhood, because this is opposite the fourth house. Fourth house is about childhood, so it's probably something that is deeply emotionally triggering, that really has a hold on you and has a hold on your traumas. This is the fourth house is a house of our traumas, and that can really have to do with your 10th house, your 10th house of success. Like, how can I be successful if when I went into my childhood, like, no one told me I could be successful? And this is just about you healing your own wounds that come to your insecurities about making things happen for yourself. You have the capability to do projects. You have the capability to make your own career path, to forge your own path in life, and to create your own authority. You must realize that it all comes from within, and that Chiron, is a deep wound, but it's also something that you can heal and you can grow from. You can learn that your childhood or your mother plays a part in how you see yourself in this world. You can heal it as well. You can accept that and start healing it and start using it and arming yourself up with it in order to really move forward. Because Aries is about I am, I can, I do. But if we have doubts about our direction in life and what we can actually physically accomplish, we start shying away from what can truly happen for us, like how we can really make things happen in our life. And this can be like fear of failure. This can be like maybe too much responsibility at work. Maybe you want to take on responsibility at work. This is about like, actually, there's this certain fear around failure. Like, what is really holding you back? Or if there's a fear that's holding you back, I do feel it as though, let's say, you're younger in your childhood, your parents said you can't do something, or, you were led to, or maybe they're not doing anything. And, you have this deep emotional wound where you're like, can I, and these hesitations towards like making things possible, and you're hesitating towards your own future. Remember, Cancer, your future is your own. Your path is your own. Our emotional ties that do with family and the mother figure, even the childhood, is something that becomes a part of us. And yes, a part of our like memory processes, but those can be like embedded in us, yes, but those things can also be shifted in a way that, hey, it was for my own growth. You can start seeing it as like, this is so you can start forging your own path. And so you can start realizing that your place in this world is much more than, you were led to believe. So let's choose a message from your higher self, Cancer, and see what they would like for you to know right now. So we have forgive them for your well-being. Gemini has this as well. So just forgiving your mother, your family, even your father, for not seeing you as you feel like you should see yourself. You feel like you should hold yourself up to a higher standard. You feel like maybe that is what's holding you back. Forgive yourself so it no longer can hold you back. Start accepting things of the past and things of that other people, are processing, because they're ignorant to their world, or they're ignorant to your world, because remember, this is your life path. No one can tell you what you can do, where you can go, and if they have and it has affected you, you have to forgive yourself, because remember, this is a soul journey. And even though we're born and stuff like into families and things of that nature, there is a sense that they can hold you back from fulfilling your goals and making you feel like you've already failed before you even started, Cancer. So that's all I have for you, Cancer. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, and subscribe, please. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Cancer. Hey, Leo. So Leo, this Chiron in Aries is retrograde is going to be happening in your 9th house of, exploration, higher learning, belief systems, publishing, really taking in an adventure for higher learning. And it's all about experience. So, this is about you maybe wanting to prepare yourself, prepare to put yourself in a perspective, to question your perceptions. Oh my God, did I say that right? Perceptions, to question your perspectives. Just basically questioning what you believe in. Why do I believe this? Is this really what I believe in? Just like, okay, are these beliefs actually helping me? You really thinking about, okay, how can I open my mind and start like considering different things, and start considering that maybe what I thought was right is not actually right, or maybe I don't know everything about this topic. This is this fear about maybe I don't have a lot of information on this system, this belief system. Maybe I don't know about this religion to be believing in this religion. And this can be really tough, for a fixed sign, because you're really fixed and firm into your beliefs, and you don't want to change them. You want them to mean something. Like, you have this womb behind, if I let this go, what do I believe in? And that right there is like, hey, I believe in myself. There's always time to change yourself and change your mind and the way that you receive and perceive information. There's always a way to change the way that you're perceiving things, and to reach higher dimensions of like thoughts. And those thoughts, they come to you in order for you to build up from, like, we are connected to the cosmos, and things shift, things change, we grow. And this is really a womb that causes you to grow, and that causes you to, try to maybe support different perspectives. I'm gonna say it right, perspectives now, because that is the sign of growth. Hey, I want to change my perspective. I want to change the way that I see things. I want to connect to new ideas. I want to go on new adventures. I want to learn new things. I want to learn new languages. And I actually can publish this book if I, start accepting the wounds about myself, and start accepting things that I didn't believe, like I believe, but maybe it wasn't always helpful. And this is definitely like liberating, because like this can hold you back. You not changing your perspective can definitely hold you back, Leo. And restrain you, and just like keep you in this box. And 9th house is not the box. It is the bursting out and exploring things that are ancient knowledge, forever information. Just learning. It is wisdom. It is a house of wisdom. So collecting the knowledge that you have gotten and turning it into wisdom. So let's choose a message from your higher self, Leo. I got 2 cards. I have nothing lasts forever, but you are not lost. Meaning that this belief system, like, we grow over time. We cannot expect to say the same. If we expect to say the same, we are at the wrong type of perception. We are not perceiving things as we should. We must grow. We must evolve within our characters, within our mental spaces, our mental formulas and equations of the universe and numbers. Like, it has to go up. We must ascend. We have to reach higher levels of mental frequencies in order to really like be fulfilled. Like, you cannot stay the same your whole life. And this is really about like, you're not losing yourself. You're actually gaining a part of yourself that was suppressed. And then you also have the answer you seek is within. Yes, like I'm telling you, like the wisdom and the knowledge comes from experience, but the wisdom comes from within. Like, hey, what did I actually learn about that? Even though there is this sense of like, maybe I didn't know what I knew, there is like, you still have the answer, like you have the answer of what you know you didn't know. And it's just about like the wound is, I keep saying the wound, but like this pain or this suffering that is just lingering there about this, maybe idea. Remember that these ideas, they come from you and they come through experience. So it is something to be actually proud of, and know that, not everything that causes pain is not always just meant for suffering. It's meant for, expansion and things of that nature. So that's all I have for you, Leo. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Leo. Hey, Virgo. So Virgo, this Chiron retrograde in Aries is going to be happening in your 8th house. So oh my gosh, the 8th house, has to do with definitely like, just like feel like, go meditate, Virgo. Go meditate. They could do some fire breath breathing, go outside and things of that nature. Because, with Chiron being in, because this is a house of psychological natures, wars, emotional healing, this deepness of life, you searching and digging throughout life, trying to get out the secrets. And during this time, Chiron has been in Aries since 2018. There is this sense of like, I have to let go of this, this intimacy like that I've experienced. It's just, everything is just so intense already within this house. And then just to have like a wound behind it, it's like this extra amount of pain of not knowing how to forgive yourself, of not knowing how to create different mental formulas for yourself, of not knowing how to stop the warring within your mind, maybe even with your resources or with the next person. Maybe this wound behind someone that you have lost, within, since 2018, and you're not ready, like you can't let go of it. It is this wound that's just so deeply buried within you that it just feels like, I will never get rid of this. How can I get rid of this? How can I let this go? How can I transform it? So there is something that you are letting go of. There is like this intimate nature that you're letting go of. There is this like forgiveness that you owe to yourself, or maybe you owe to someone else. Maybe you did something to someone else. But just like, this is really intense though, because there is like definitely crying. There's definitely like there's definitely release. There's definitely like this mindset of, how can I allow myself to have been burdened? Like, there's this grudge, there's just feeling as though you've allowed yourself to like psychologically be tormented by these things, and you've allowed this pain to exist within you that holds you back. You can't let go. And it's just for you, like, you have to remember that forgiveness is not just about, like solving anything with the next person or taking them back. Forgiveness is something that you do for yourself in order to stop the wars within your mind, and start accepting yourself as you are, and start accepting that things that have happened to you within the 8th house, because a lot does happen. This is a very like chaotic house, that you will come out on top, because it's about transforming. It's about using pain to bring you strength. With pain comes strength, with this transit for you. And also about like allowing yourself to be free from these things, free from the grudge, free from the burden, free from things that exist within you that doesn't actually help you. It doesn't make you go further. It just causes suffering. So let's choose a message from your higher self, Virgo, and see what they would like for you to know right now. We have solitude. So spending time alone, processing these ideas in these maybe even karmas, because 8th house has to do with karma too. So this can be a karmic wound that you've experienced, and that has died with maybe the last generation, or died with someone, or even this house has to do with like other people's like paper money. So even with that, maybe you losing their paper money, maybe you feeling horrible because of it, or something around that. But just spending time alone and start figuring out what you like, what you want, and start moving into those directions, and start doing things of like, hey, maybe you like drawing, start drawing, because now you're releasing, you're letting go of these things. And maybe writing, you're letting go of these things, and that is what is going to transform you. That is what's going to heal you, and that is what's going to make it easier for you to accept yourself. But you have to spend time alone to really start hearing your own thoughts and stop listening to other people's lies or lying to yourself about certain things, and just uncovering the truth. But this must happen in solitude. You have to listen and think and listen to your own thoughts. Like, listen to the warring that's going on with your head. Who's saying what, and what is the other person saying? And start writing it down, and start trying to maybe create something that releases and helps you let go of this pain, Virgo. So that's all I have for you, Virgo. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Virgo. Libra. So Libra, this Chiron in Aries retrograde is going to be happening in your 7th house. So your 7th house has to do with, relationships, has to do with your unions, your one-on-one relationships, business partners, best friends, exes, anything that is like loving, And so there is this like wound that comes with your unions. Maybe the person is like self-centered, or maybe you think they only thought about themselves, or maybe you think that you never will be equal to this person, or there's maybe some imbalances, or you feeling that there are some imbalances, or you feeling as though maybe this can't work, maybe I always have to like sacrifice myself in order for things to actually go in any type of direction. Maybe there is some insecurity that comes behind this, or maybe even some jealousy that comes behind this, or some like intensity that comes behind your unions, or the one-on-one relationships that you exist in. And it's time for you to start speaking up, because when you're using the communication, you're actually thinking things through and listening to the other person, there is an understanding. There is some type of like, okay, now I can accept it for what it truly is, because I'm now bringing it to the surface. There is maybe like you feel stuck in a like pleasing the other person, like in the cycle of like, how can I make them better? Maybe it's always like you putting them first, and you feel like you're never put first. And this is the time for you to like really think like, okay, how can I equal out, or how can I feel justified in this union, or how can I feel complete within this union? I know, Libra, whenever you're in a union, you want to be harmonized. Otherwise you don't feel as though it's going anywhere. Like, you want to go somewhere, you want to keep going up, you want to keep pushing the other person up, and them as well. But also like, maybe you're doing these services, or you feel like you're doing too much, or they're doing too much, or there is something that's not being like reciprocated, where you feel pain behind it. You feel like there is suffering, maybe even a little bit of insecurity, that comes with this. And this also can be like you deciding, what should I do? Like, how do my behaviors affect this relationship? How do their behaviors affect this union? Like, how is everyone showing up? And you start using your skills of, weighing out the scales, and you start using your skills of bringing things into the light and trying to bring them in balance, into understanding how everyone is playing a part in it. And maybe coming to your partner as, I feel this way because I feel like you show up as this, and it being more clear. Maybe you're able to accept those things now. Maybe you're able to accept the insecurities and start turning them into strengths, and start not actually looking at it as being insecure, but looking at it as being maybe a wound from, it could have to do with your identity, because it's opposite the first house. So it could be something that comes from you, that comes from within, or maybe there is some type of identity crisis that you're going through, and it affects your relationship, but you feel as though they should care about your identity crisis. But it doesn't always circle out around like that, because you remember, people are perceiving the relationship differently, so they might not even know that you feel this way. And it's just up to you to like start speaking up about it, and start really trying to channel out like how do I actually feel, and how can I bring these feelings to my partner? So let's choose a message from your higher self There's two that popped out. We have cosmic wisdom, and we also have celebrate achievements. So for these two cards from your higher self, I feel as though, like, so-called Chiron being in Aries, there is this sense of, suffering and pain, but also when you start to accept, it becomes, this wisdom. It becomes something that you know about yourself, something that you can accept, something that you can deal with and work through, and it becomes a strength. So by having this knowledge, it turns into cosmic wisdom, because now in each and every relationship, you can apply it as that. You can start to see it as that, okay, maybe I need to look at myself and how I'm showing up. Do I self please them before I even know who they truly are? Do I try to give them everything that they need before I'm even giving what I need? And there's this sense of, like, now this is wisdom. It went from knowledge to being wisdom, because the cosmos, you're connected to it, and they tell you certain things, and you're able to start addressing these. Remember, you can't, you have to go through experiences in order to learn, but you are divinely connected to, like, this higher source. And then also celebrating achievements, just by knowing these things, it feels like, even if you're the only one happy about it too, and if you're the only one happy, like, hey, I came to this realization, be happy and celebrate these wins with yourself, because the seventh house has to do with best friend. So be your own best friend and start really loving and being compassionate towards yourself in order to celebrate even that. And a lot of people don't have that within themselves, and a lot of people don't understand that they're connected to this higher source of learning, higher source of power. When they start surrendering to the insecurities, and they start surrendering to things that does cause them pain. So that's all I have for you, Libra. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Libra. Hey, Scorpio. So Scorpio, this Chiron in Aries retrograde is going to be happening in your sixth house. Your sixth house has to do with your health routine, health as well. That has to do with your work, how you service others, and it also has to do with, like, your day-to-day routine. And so this is about you, tending to your health, like your mental health, seeing, like, what's important during this time, and, what's important when it comes to your, like, your health routine, what's important to when it comes to, maybe your mental health, what's important when it comes to, like, hey, am I really having the lifestyle that I can keep up with day to day that is actually helpful? This is about you getting real and start accepting maybe the bad habits that you incorporate throughout the day that is not helpful, that is very harmful, towards you, and these patterns and habits that you have is not really ideal when it comes to building up yourself, your health, your wealth, and building up your like self-worth and like productivity and like being productive and things of that nature. You're showing up to work, maybe not in the best way because you're not physically taking care of yourself in the best way. And this can be like a poor relationship, honestly, between you and your body, and just like considering how you can use these things to develop on a sense of work, maybe accepting yourself as you are now, most importantly, but taking that next step to grow by the acceptance, grieving and things of that nature, and start, expanding out and start learning about yourself, learning about how you can, incorporate better daily habits, building stronger boundaries behind things that that affect, your mind when it comes to how you take care of yourself, maybe deleting, social media, or even like not watching a lot of television, not getting on, the internet so much, and you just literally catering to the pain already that you have suffered, or this lingering, like uncomfortability when it comes to like, your health and things of that nature. Like, are you really taking care of your health as you should? Are you really thinking about your well-being? Now's the time for you to like rest and really start being comfortable and start trying to, uncover and be comfortable with who you truly are now, who you decide to be, and what you decide to, bring into your life. Someone is like pouring water on the trees. Thank you. So yes, Scorpio, definitely spending time in nature. Nature is the best thing that you can possibly do every day. Start, spending time in the sun, doing your Tai Chi exercises, yoga, laying on the grass, speaking to the grass, hugging the trees, speaking to the trees, dancing in the winds. Do it all, because this helps you build a relationship with your body. Even walking around naked helps you, because now you're seeing your body as it is and you're accepting it as you should. And there is a sense of maybe, you wanting to seek, even with your pets and things of that nature, you can honestly seek that type of care. You know how you care for you have to care for your pets, care for yourself just as well, because in my opinion, the way that you take care of other things is the way that you take care of yourself, is the way that you take care of other things. So spending time in nature will give you like this, like, electrifying energy that makes you want to do these things. So we have explore yourself and you will find the lesson. I feel as though whenever we come and point into our life, which we all did it, and we like let ourselves go, and we just kind of go along with our daily routine because we feel like it's right. We feel like maybe, it's not worth it to think about anything else, or we just kind of just lose our sense of our mental health, what makes us happy, maybe even lose our sense of going to the gym, working out, getting up, doing anything that is beneficial for us. There is a lesson in that, though. There is a, accepting part where it's like, okay, I let myself go, but guess what? I can find myself again. Aries is I am going to do it. I am going to, start loving myself in ways that is supporting my well-being. I am going to love myself in ways that I haven't been loving myself before, but taking the time to accept it, address it, cry about it is the most healthiest thing that you can do, because you're gonna find this. I won't say that, yeah, it's a lesson, but it also is like a certain level of wisdom now, because now, when you start taking care of yourself, everything around you gets better and it just feels like it's worth it. So that's all I have for you, Scorpio. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Scorpio. Hey, Sagittarius. So Sagittarius, this Chiron in Aries retrograde is going to be happening in your 5th house. Your 5th house has to do with your creativity, love, your love affairs, your children. Anything fun and creative is in this house. Anything that's exciting, karaoke, getting up on stage, singing, dancing, just this heart, anything that is in your heart's desires is in this house. And excuse me, anything like, that brings you like external pleasures in this house. So this is about you, finding out what has been depriving you of joy, what has been depriving you of, maybe even connecting with your children, what's depriving you of seeing your children as someone fun and not like a burden, or not like something that is just like, oh my God, like, were they born to hurt me? Like, were they born to literally suck the joy out of me? And just finding a sense of like, hey, what is actually important? How can I, maybe I've been catering to them so much and I've just been losing my sense of fun, my sense of, yay, I want to go out, I want to have fun, I want to go, I want to go to a show, I want to do this, I want to go to a concert, I want to go to this retreat, I want to do things for myself. And it's just like feeling as though maybe something is sucking you, even or just leaving this empty feeling that's inside of you that causes suffering and depriving you of joy and happiness and the creative forces and creating blocks and things of that nature. But this is time for you to like, forgive yourself and like start setting boundaries. Even when you do have children, you have to set boundaries, because what they want and what they think is very important and very valid. However, what you want and you think, you have to make possible, because you are you and they are them. You are giving them like a thriving kit. You're showing them how to show up for themselves. And if you lose your sense of fun and feel like maybe they should only be the ones having fun, maybe they should only be the ones going to concerts, you start losing your sense of creativity, that inner child. The 5th house is your inner child. You must play. You gotta play with them. You gotta have fun with them. And just knowing that, like, maybe you have to set boundaries behind it. Maybe you need to have fun for yourself. Maybe you need to understand that if your own cup is not full, you cannot, help them. You can't be obligated to help even children. As long as they're fed, healthy, and thriving, that is what matters. But completely giving and immersing yourself into their worlds, it happens, where when you become a parent, you do focus on that, but you cannot lose sight of yourself, because however they will see that as well. And instead of doing, focus on doing what you love, your hobbies, what makes you have fun, your projects, your inner child, brings you fun, hanging out with friends, going to the concert, what brings you fun. And that's what you have to focus on, because that really is gonna start having you accept this wound that comes behind this, because these burdens and putting things on a back burner and pushing them aside brings up this wound. Like, maybe I can't be a child, maybe my imagination is just not there, maybe maybe what I want to manifest is not as creative, or maybe I've been manifesting life for them and not manifesting life for us, by me actually figuring out what I can do. And there's this wound though, because it feels like I've been missing this, and accepting the part of yourself that you neglected and that you gave away in order to and when you think about it, it's like it doesn't do them any good and it doesn't do you good. So accepting that is really beneficial, towards your growth, Sagittarius. So let's choose a message from your higher self, Sagittarius. Look, you have move your chi, moving the energy and the electricity that exists within you. So this here is like go out dancing, go out singing. I'm very expressive in the way that I speak. I always speak with my hands, but you getting out, moving your body around, dancing, going hiking, doing something that's fun for you but that's physical and that moves that electricity around, and really bursts up the kundalini, and having you have access to all these ideas that were once dormant, or you giving these ideas in fun to another person or to a romantic partner. Now you getting back to your chi and your chi and your electricity. So, the chi is something that runs throughout our body. And so just by moving, dancing, getting into the sun, the beach, running throughout, the neighborhood or whatever the case is, just getting back into what you think is fun. Maybe it's skating, I don't know what it is. For me, I would say, maybe it's volleyball, like any type of sports. Like maybe it is something that you haven't done since you were a child, but now it's time for you to do it and start healing that wound behind, maybe because I had children, I have to suppress my inner child. Maybe because I have all these responsibilities, I gotta suppress my inner child. But no, bringing that inner child back to life is fun. It's growth, and that's what you're going to experience for this trend, this Sagittarius. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Sagittarius. Capricorn. So Capricorn, this is going to be happening in your 4th house. Okay, so the Chiron and Aries retrograding in 4th house, definitely prepare to be thinking about your childhood, be thinking about your mother, the traumas that you've experienced, or your mother figure, if you were adopted and things of that nature. But just thinking about how it affected really the way that you respond to your career, the way you respond to your emotions, your relationships, having you affected your emotional responses, and it being so deeply hidden in the wounds of that, and the wounds of your childhood, and it just bubbling up during this time, my mom did this to me, my family did this to me, my family didn't accept me, that's why I can't get this done, and it just coming up as anger, but it's really hurt, it's really pain, it's really this neglect that you felt as a child, and you feel like you couldn't access it, and you deserved it, you feel like you deserved to be loved, you deserved all of these things. And there is this sense of pain, like this suffering, you know, and it being honestly turning into anger, because we're talking about Aries. So it turning into anger, like I'm mad about this, I'm angry about this, like I need to punch somebody because of this. And you know, this is really just about, you know, you have to start understanding that early life, it does affect us and it does create these wounds, but as we grow older, it's up to us to accept those things about other people in order to move forward. We don't need to, you know, accept them back in, but we need to accept it for our own mental, you know, space, and for our own, like, for in order for us to reach fulfillment within our own life, because we will never truly reach a fulfillment if, you know, Capricorn, you're angry about what, you know, your parents or your family has done to you, whether it's kicked you out into the cold, whether it's, you know, make you not, whether it's neglect, you know, whether the family dynamic was always, you know, this cycle of, you know, undoing, and this cycle of, you know, like intense surroundings, chaos and things of that nature. And this is also can be about, like, you know, just think about it as being like generational trauma. Fourth house is about generational trauma. You were meant to go through these things in order for you to learn and grow from them. And I know that it's hard to, you know, accept that, because, you know, when we're born here, we feel like they need to be taken, like, you have me for a reason and you should be taking care of me. But it's really like they just portal you into this realm, and they, you know, they program you. I'm talking about your family, your parents. They program you, your mother, in order for you to succeed in life. But it's not always the best program. They don't always know. They do the best that they can within their life experience, and you have to further yours by accepting the wounds and start using it and channeling it in ways, maybe to connect with your ancestors, you know, maybe to connect with those who came before you, but in ways that help you, you know, break the cycle. You have to start figuring out how I can break the cycle, how I can stop being so angry, because I don't want, you know, maybe you don't want to have children, but if you do, you don't want to pass it on to their children. But remember, when you leave, there is always something left behind you. So, you know, there's always something. So you want to break these cycles, because you have, you know, a generational like blueprint and things that you came here to experience, and that was one of them. No matter how painful it is, there is a certain strength that comes from it with it. Maybe not so much suppressing so much how you feel. You can no longer suppress it when it comes to this retrograde, and, you know, just ending cycles that you don't want to be a part of, and learning how to, like, parent yourself, Capricorn, is what's really going to get you to accept it. Like, hey, my mom or dad, they didn't know how to be a parent. I don't know why they was having children. However, I know how to mother and care for myself, and I'm going to do that, because remember, the fourth house is Cancer. It's about your roots. So mother yourself, and mother yourself back to feeling like you can accept those deep dark parts of yourself that you feel like was neglected when you were a child, and it wouldn't have happened if you weren't neglected. However, you know, you have to mother yourself back to health. So let's choose a message from your higher self, Capricorn. We have psychic abilities. I love this because, first and foremost, the psyche is very, very complex. And when it comes to, like, your emotional link to the mental space, we have an emotional body, etherical body, we have all of these bodies, but mental and emotional bodies we have. And there is this link between the two, and your ability to see straight and to use your psychic abilities in ways that are healing and helping can be blurred by your emotions. Finding the link between the two, Capricorn, I feel like your higher self is trying to tell you, is going to help you have these psychic abilities that can now translate into your life as something that is fulfilling for you, something that is tangible for you, and something that is definitely healing for you. And you can surrender to the mind, because the mind is like a prison sometimes. It keeps us trapped up in all of these things that have happened within our, you know, a lifetime, or happened within the childhood for you, Capricorn. But they can also be used as something that is, you know, forward movement. I can use my psychic gifts in order to manifest the life that I truly deserve, you have to address this, Capricorn. Okay, and focusing your psychic abilities on what you actually want, or how you need to heal, can heal up your mental and your emotional body. Having them work as one. All of the bodies must work as one. If one is off, they're all off. So that's all I have for you, Capricorn. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Capricorn. Aquarius. So Aquarius, this Chiron in Aries retrograde is going to be happening in your third house. Okay, so your third house has to do with your communication. It has to do with your intellect, the way that you're communicating your thoughts, your skill set, your brothers, your sisters, your aunts and uncles, your neighbors, like the inner circle. It has to do with like gossip and things of that nature. So during the Chiron in Aries retrograde, there could have been like you holding your tongue, you feeling like maybe what you have to say is not valid. Maybe there is a certain pain that comes when you say something that everyone always acts like they're wounded by it, or or maybe when you speak, there is just like you're speaking from suffering, or you're speaking from something that maybe you're speaking from anger. Maybe you have experienced something with your brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, or even immediate like surroundings, where you need to explore why you need, like, it's heightened now. Now you need to start digging deep and figuring out, what is this wound? Where do I start hesitating when it comes to speaking out? Where do I start hesitating and holding my tongue where I'm speaking from anger? Like, it's either it comes out in anger or it comes out like I'm hesitant, I don't want to say it, so it's like the balance between the two, or just expressing it as you can, even because third house has to do with writing. So writing can definitely be helpful when it comes to this release, when it comes to this transformation, when you're trying to accept these things about yourself now, Aquarius. And maybe there's this internal insecurity when it comes to the way that you're speaking and the way that you're communicating. Maybe there's this sense of what I have to say is not really valid, or maybe how I felt is not really how I felt. There is this like blurring of the suffering that causes you to start questioning yourself and having this insecurity, and maybe that's what's holding you back, right? And so, with Chiron activating in third house and in Aries, there is this, there's communication of maybe it's time for you, in turning retrograde, it's time for you to start speaking your truth. It's time for you to stand up and start pushing yourself, and maybe considering what you do have to say is valid. It's important for you to be heard, by whoever you need to hear your voice, maybe brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, or your immediate environment. Maybe you do need to start speaking up about yourself, not in anger, but in a way that expresses the anger that you do feel behind, being silenced in a way, right? Or not being able to muster up the courage to stare. You have to start getting there's a sense of accepting these things. When you start accepting it, maybe you were silenced, maybe you weren't able to be insecure about the things that you say. Maybe this insecurity is just lingering within you, but you must confidently share the way that you feel, whether you have to say it slow, whether you have to write it down, most importantly, and send out letters, because at the end of this change, you're gonna feel better. You're gonna feel like, maybe I got everything off my chest. I was able to intellectually communicate the way that this was bothering me, or the way that my communication levels were so suppressed because of this wound that has to do with my brothers and sisters. It has to do with some type of and it can even be about your higher learning. Maybe you want to learn more. Maybe that's stopping you, because this is opposite the ninth house. And maybe the ninth house, has to do with like higher learning and things of that nature, and philosophies and belief systems. Maybe you want to change a belief system. Maybe you don't want to believe in these, and you're not able to really be secure with the things that you say and really start exploring these things. It's just about accepting that there's always a higher perspective, and there's always a higher way to start thinking about things and start changing the way that you perceive things. But it does come from the things that you say and things that the things that you think about. So let's choose a message from your higher self, Aquarius, and see what they would like for you to know right now. We have sound healing. This is perfect. Third house is the third house is, you know, about talking and public speaking and things of that nature. Sound healing. It will be good right now. Instead of trying to communicate, maybe getting a song that explains how you feel. Maybe getting some type of tone that helps you calm down and now write down how you feel. I feel like songs and things of that nature explain well how we feel, and maybe they can speak to you in that way. That definitely is something that could come into play. Your higher self is telling you that maybe certain tones will calm you down and give you this clear thoughts of getting down to the bottom of where this pain is actually stemming from. Is it stemming from the voice, or is it stemming from your thought wars or mental processes, the way that you are processing? Maybe it was so much gossip around you. Now you're like, oh, I don't want to talk about gossip. I want to actually communicate in ways that is not hurting, that is not hurt others, but more so it's I want to come across as understood and understood. So that's all that I have for you, Aquarius. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Aquarius. Hey, Pisces. So Pisces, this Chiron in Aries retrograde is going to be happening in your second house. Your second house has to do with your self-worth, your income, your finances, your resources, the way you spend money, the way you save money. And there could have been this wound ever since 2018, maybe even 2019, like, of you, like, wait, how am I saving money? You know, there's this wound that has to do with money, where it's like, maybe I don't have enough. Maybe my confidence is low because I'm not making money. You know, maybe my measure of my own self-worth was like measured with my sense of making income. You know, there is this sense of like, maybe I need to review these things, get down to it, start accepting that yes, the way that we come across, meaning like our confidence level, does affect the way that we make money. Because remember, like, people who go after their dreams and go after their what they're called to do, with their ancestral line, or what their soul is telling them to do, and their soul family and their soul elders and things, and the ascendant masters are telling them to do the divine. They know that they're connected to the divine, and they're connected to this consciousness. And though, yes, you get knocked down, there is a certain level of pain, they still go after it. You know, that's what leads to success for them, because they're willing to be resilient. They're willing to push their pain aside for the goal, but they're not willing to suppress it. You can feel pain, you know, you can feel suffering, but you want to face it, most importantly, but you don't want to let it take over you. There is a sense of like accepting it, putting it down, and having you see, okay, maybe this is a part of myself, and I'm just gonna have to learn to accept it. And so, you know, the second house has to do with values and things of that nature too, your morals. And this can really be pushing you to start considering like how you're saving money. Are you saving it? How does it impact your goals? You know, how does it impact your, you know, your perception of self, or your conception of the self? Like, how is it making up your character, where it comes to like, hey, I'm building up these wounds about my self-worth that is affecting my finances. Now it's time to like start really undoing and start really reviewing. This has been affecting me. Why do I think about paper money in this way? Why is, you know, paper money just affecting the way that I see my self-worth? And there is like, it honestly, like, if you have a like scarcity mindset, if you have a lack mindset, that's when lack comes. There is this you know, sense of you have to think abundantly in order for abundant outcomes to happen. An abundant mindset creates abundant outcomes. But once again, when you are resilient and you are confident in what you're trying to create, whether you feel like an imposter because, you know, Saturn is in the first house of Pisces, whether there is a doubt, a fear, because Saturn puts that there, and it's working together with the second house. There is this sense of like, okay, there's fear, you know, and this fear comes out of the hurt, and it comes out of, you know, what people have told you, and it all plays a part in how you're seeing yourself. And now is really time to align yourself to reframing your reframing yourself, the way that you self-identify, and reframing your perspective, and reframing the way that you think about money, and the way that you see your self-worth, and how it like equates to your like finances. Remember that when you're confident in what you truly believe in, or or how you spend your money, or how you see yourself, that's when, you know, the income really starts to you know, maximize. The second house is opposite the eighth house, and this is about, like, this can have to do with the wound that has to do with secrets that's just deep down and below the surface. You may have to literally psychologically die in order for you to really start accepting yourself as you are, Pisces, and accepting yourself and letting go of the parts of yourself, or even the resources and finances of others, to start building on your own. And not, you know, we do need others to get through our life, but don't be so dependent on it, and there's this feeling like, wow, it's never enough money. But don't be so dependent on someone else's paper money, and it stops you and wounds you for going out to get your own, just because maybe you see how much they had to do just to, you know, get it, and you're like, oh, I want to shy away from it. But remember, think about the confidence that they hold within them, and the psychological wars that they have won within their own minds to make this happen for them. And think about how many blocks and obstacles they have gotten through within the mind. Everything is mental. In order to really start achieving things and transforming their life to higher frequencies of getting, of receiving, of manifesting. Okay, so let's choose a message from your higher self, Pisces, and see what they would like for you to know right now. Okay, nothing lasts, but you are not lost. Wow, this is beautiful. So that means that, let me read you this line. Nothing remains. Everything changes. Everything transforms and evolves. Pain ends and pleasure returns. So remember that, you know, in the eighth house, even in the second house, these stem from how others have told us to have worth. You know, how like the outside world has dictated, or the external world has dictated how we should feel about ourselves, or how we should make money. Oh, we only have a associate's, a high school diploma, we can only work at McDonald's. No, it is about transforming your mindset and knowing that all of those things are temporary, and the pain and the suffering that you feel behind self can be transformed, and can be healed and grown, and can be healed, and you can grow and really transform it into, and alchemize it into becoming something that you truly want to be. And it's going to evolve, you actually acknowledging it, Pisces. So that's all I have for you. I hope that was helpful. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, please, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, Pisces.